Well, I'm out and about today. Again, thanks for joining. If you can, hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. It's all down in here somewhere. So, today I'm going to talk a little bit about the Mosko Moto Basilisk IR jacket versus the Klim Carlsbad jacket. So obviously you'll see some video with me riding with both of them on here. It is I don't know, June or whatever, but they're both waterproof. And I'm going to sit here in traffic because we have detours, we got all kinds of stuff going on here, folks. Alright, back to the thing. So I got this jacket from Mosko, and just for everybody's knowledge, I did get a little bit of a discount on it. Still paid money for it, so it wasn't like I got it for free. So I can talk about it the way I want to talk about it. But I do thank them at Mosko for letting me have a little bit off the jacket. Now, the big thing that I have to say is it's actually a nice jacket. Now, again, I'm a big guy, and I've always complained about Mosko gear that their normal stuff just doesn't fit guys my size, right? That's the reason why I buy a lot of Klim stuff. So with me buying a lot of Klim stuff, I have a tendency, because I'm a bigger guy, you know, it just is what it is, right? Mosko, now, I know Pete, great guy, but let's face it, Pete's, you know, 6'6" or whatever, and, you know, 6'5", and like a beanpole. You know, not the most typical American body there is. So, anyhow, but long story short is that normally Mosko's been just making stuff that would be, I don't know, I guess average American, not us big bone folks, as Cartman would say, right? So it always been a struggle. But this is a XXX jacket that I have on, and it's loose enough that, you know, to put, you know, extra layers underneath it. So that makes it nice. It is tight in the midsection, but then again, maybe I should be worried about the midsection myself. But it does have a midsection that's just a tad tighter than what the Klim shows. But outside of that, the armor is just as strong as the Klim armor, but it's a little thinner. They've got a new technology here, and I'll put that down. Great armor that's built into this, and you can take it out. So you could wear this with armor underneath, and you could wear this with armor underneath and just take the pads out of the jacket itself. So that makes it really nice and flexible. Now, you could do that to the Carlsbad if you wanted to as well, but still, at the end of the day, this jacket is light enough. Now, bulk-wise, I would say that this jacket is not as bulky as the Carlsbad, and so that does make, again, that makes it for another nice feature that if you took the pads out of it, you could roll it up a little bit better and tuck it away and for storage. So that is a pretty nice thing for, that's a pretty nice thing for if you're traveling with this jacket and you've got armor underneath and it gets hot or whatever. You could always throw this, you know, on the back of your bike or in a pannier or something like that, and then be able to throw it on when you have some inclement weather or rain or whatever. So it just, like I said, it's roomy enough. You can cinch it up, everything like that. I think the one thing that is bothering me a little bit is, it's awfully foggy, folks, as you guys probably can tell from here. So I got to kind of pay attention. But the one thing that is is the cinching in the arms, and I'll show that a little bit later. But the cinching in the arms, it's right, at least for me, it's right where my elbow bends on both sides, and it kind of digs into your arm. So if you're bending your elbow, bending your arm, it's a little bit, what I would say, like uncomfortable in the elbows, and I don't have that on the Carlsbad. The Carlsbad's kind of tucked in underneath, so there is that in the elbow when you bend it that could be a little discomforting for you. You know, just again, that's kind of a thing for me. But so far, this jacket's been good. It blocks the wind very nice. It's, you know, waterproof, and when you're in inclement weather or, you know, cold, chilly, or whatever you're doing on top of the other stuff, it's really fantastic. So, anyways, it's a great jacket. Now, it's expensive. It's more expensive than the Carlsbad. I'll obviously have the prices and stuff like that, you know, listed on underneath both of them. But this jacket is $849 or $899. I can't remember. I think it's $849, and the Carlsbad is $729. So a little bit different in pricing, about $100 more. And, you know, so again, it's all about, you know, do you want the Mosko stuff? Do you want the Klim stuff? I think the Klim is fitted a little bit more for the American body. And I'm talking about the big bone, you know, folks, or if you want a little roominess or whatever. And then I think the Mosko is a little bit more, not slim fit, not like a European cut, but just more, I guess, normal American size. So if you're in good shape and you're fit, bam, Mosko is probably going to be the one that you want. It's going to be a little bit tighter. It's not going to, you know, be as bulky and loose fitting as Klim is, and so that could be a big difference for, you know, for someone that wants to, you know, have a little bit more snug fit, more tight, you know, not as loose and baggy, I should say. So anyway, all right, so that's kind of it on the Mosko. But great jacket. I love the texture. If you do go down or something like that, which I have not yet, knock on wood, but the abrasion portion of this really runs all the way down. I think that's really probably why you're paying a little bit more money for the Mosko, is that the abrasion part, whereas you'll see on the Klim, it has patches like in the shoulder, the elbow, that type of thing. And I'm really comparing this to the Carlsbad. I'm not comparing this to the Badlands, or, you know, the Badlands Pro. So, you know, just some differences there. But I think because you have all this abrasion stuff up in this neck of the woods, that gives you a little bit more for the pricing, because when you do go down, you slide or whatever, that this is going to be a little bit more resistant to any tears or damage potentially versus the Carlsbad. So anyways, that's kind of what I got on this. Let's get to the Carlsbad thing right now. Klim stuff here. And so we were talking about the Mosko stuff earlier, but so the Klim is just going to be personally fitted more for big bone folks. A little bit looser fitting, especially in the midsection. So if you've got a little bit of a midsection, then I would tell you that the Klim's going to give you a little bit more space. Being nice about that. So now with that, it is a little looser all over. So if you want a little bit tighter feeling, you want to feel like you have a little bit more like snugness. Now this is a 3X. I bet a 2X probably would be a little bit more, probably tighter than the 3X on the Mosko, but the 3X on the Klim is just looser in general. So again, now you can add layers underneath. You can take the padding out of this jacket just like you can on the Klim one, or on the Mosko one, And that would give you, you know, an opportunity to carry this as kind of your rainproof jacket, climate jacket, and wear, you know, wear some pads underneath, and when it gets hot, you can take the jacket off and store it. So there's options if you have that. Now, one of the things that I did talk about was the cinch strap that is in your elbow here. So when you've got the elbow stuff here, the one on the Klim is a little bit down by your forearm, down here further, not in your elbow where it creases. So I don't have that feeling I do on the Mosko in the elbow. So that's a little bit different and a little bit more comfortable on this jacket. So now the zippers on here are good, just like, you know, the one on the Mosko one. I do find the cinch strap, and I'll show that you know, as I go through it, but the cinch straps around the wrist, I actually like it on the Mosko better when it tightens up, and you kind of put that around the wrist, and I'll show that here. All right, so got the Carlsbad on here. So you got zippers all kind of all over the place for let air in, all that, get it back in here. So you got a lot of ventilation here. What I do like is that you got these two pockets here. You don't have those on the Mosko. This is a waterproof pocket here. So what's nice about this is that I actually can put my wallet in here and not worry about if it gets wet or whatever, because it's a waterproof jacket. And then here I usually put my Garmin InReach, and so that makes it kind of nice to have that on you. And then I talked about a little bit about the cinch straps here. Let's see if we could do this. We talked about the cinch straps here. Nice, nothing wrong with them. I mean, they work, but I like the one on the Mosko better. So anyhow, but yeah, so it gives you an idea. Pockets, you got flip pockets here. These are Velcroed, and then the pockets here, but these only snap. So if you guys can see that, they only snap, and versus the Mosko ones that zip. So all right, let's get this jacket off, and we'll put the other one back on. All right, so as I was talking earlier, I do like the cinching up on this better. I just feel like it's a little bit tighter, plus I don't have the zip up here. But again, this right here is right where you bend your elbow, and it's uncomfortable. So now you got vent up here versus extra venting that you have on the Carlsbad. You do have vents in here, so you can open those up. Again, there, got them in the back. So you do have venting, which is good, right? So you got all that back in here. And then, but again, you don't have any pockets. So I can't, you know, outside of here. And these are nice because these are zippered. So you got pockets right here. That zip. You don't have the pockets up here to put a wallet or anything that's, you know, so you only have these to work with. And they're fine, but they zip up. So that's you know, maybe a plus or minus, however you want to look at it. So again, very stylish, very good. A little tighter fitting than the Carlsbad. So if you're wearing stuff underneath, just know that if you got a little bit more of a bigger body, this is going to be a little tighter than the Carlsbad. So anyways, hope this helps. Let me know, again, in the comment section. Let me know. But this is the Mosko Basilisk IR, and that's the Carlsbad jacket from Klim. So just a little bit difference in the two of them, but they're both waterproof. They're both great jackets. And I did talk about the abrasion. See how much there's abrasion here? And then on the Carlsbad, you just have a little bit around the elbows and the shoulders. You don't have it running all the way up and down on the jacket like you do here. So that's a little bit different for the pricing and give you a little bit more protection if you go down. So anyway, that's about it, gang. See you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. So I got the Mosko on here, so see. Whew. So